Hey MMA fans, Cage Minds, your host Micah Frankel, here doing another interview focusing on women's MMA. Today we are glad to be joined by Invicta Fighting Championships competitor Michele Gutierez. She'll be on that free streaming card April 28th. Everybody be sure to check it out. How are you doing today, Michele?
I'm awesome, thank you. How are you?
I'm doing good. Saw you put on Twitter today that you're feeling in a spicy mood. What does that mean?
I'm just really snappy. You know, it's getting really close. I don't really have to cut a lot of weight for this fight, but anytime I have to stop eating carbs or, cutting my water, I just get really spicy. And people in Vegas, they drive like crap, so I'm all over the place. I'm just, snapping at everybody. So the nice word for that is spicy.
Okay, I will try to stay away from your spiciness then and avoid the destruction.
Good idea.
Okay, so first off, how does it feel to be a part of the historic event and everything, to be a part of Invicta?
I'm so excited. When they asked me, I jumped on the chance. I didn't even think twice. It's huge. It's huge for women's MMA to be, on the first card. It's just awesome. I'm so excited. I'm so ready. I've taken this fight so seriously. I've trained like crazy. So, now it's time for us to go out there and put on a good show and let people know that, women's MMA is here to stay.
Awesome. That's what we all hope to see come from this card. So, more involved in the card. Got any thoughts to share with us on your opponent, Sarah McLeod?
It's Malloy. She, it's an equal match, which is good for me. After my last fight, it was such a disaster, and it took me a long time to mentally get over that. I'm excited about this because it is equal. She has skill. My last opponent had none. So it's just, I won't come out like I did in the last one. The last one was like fighting a tornado, and that's just really hard to do. So, we've tried to fight before, but it fell through. So, I've been waiting for this fight for a long time. Like I said, it's equal match. It's a little heavier than I like to fight. After my last fight, I swore I'd never fight at 125 again, but Invicta offered me this at 125 or something at 115. There was no in the middle, so I had to take the 125.
So would you classify yourself more as a catchweight fighter, kind of?
Oh, yeah. I'm comfortable. I'm the most comfortable at like 120, 118. I'm tall, so it's hard for me to get to 115. When I first started my MMA career, I weighed in at my pro debut at like 114, and I was just wasn't healthy at the time. Like my mom had passed away, so I was like depressed, skinny, and I didn't feel strong. So since then, I've been kind of working my way up a little. 125 is usually too heavy. As a girl, they cut from like 140, and I don't. I walk around like 130, 132, the heaviest. So I got with a nutritionist for this fight, and he tried to put a little more muscle on me, so I'm a little bigger. So we'll see how it goes.
So you think there'll be an obvious difference once we see you in the cage with your strength and just your conditioning from the last fight to this fight?
Yeah, the last fight, I wasn't training. I was out traveling the world promoting supremacy MMA. I was in London. I was all over the place, I didn't have a consistent camp. I was leaving constantly to promote video games. And, which wasn't bad. I would change anything for the world. That was an amazing experience, This fight, I have not left Vegas one time. I have a stable corner. I haven't had any life drama, no issues, It's weird. It's weird for me that everything's just been so normal. So I feel a lot more mentally there, a lot more physically there. You'll definitely be able to feel like the atonement. Like, you can tell by someone's body, like, how they're training. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, I'm excited to kind of see, why not? It's been 8 months, it's been kind of a long time, so we'll see how it goes.
Do you feel in that time in the last 8 months that you've grown a lot, that we'll see different tricks out of you now this time around?
Well, I had to, swallow that pill of losing to basically a loser, a girl that doesn't really do anything for MMA except for make it look bad. So I had to constantly defend myself and, sit down and I changed managers. I just needed a different, things around me. So my coach that I have now, James Strongwood, and coaches Amanda Lucas and Colleen Schneider, and I've known him since I first started fighting. I've known him for 7 years. He knows me probably better than anybody. He's seen me when I was just a boxer. He's seen me go all through my MMA career. He's seen me go up and down, and things that happen, and I trust him. And he knows just what to do with me. He talks me down from this neurotic state that I get in, and it's just a really good fit. So I'm excited. Taught me so much on the ground. I used to panic when I got taken down, panic when I got put in side control, panic, just panic. I got to my heart pound so fast, sure. And now I'm just, okay, I got taken down. Let me get back up, or let me go for a position, or you know what I mean? It's just, I've grown a lot, and that's what fighters do. And that's how you know that you're a good fighter, is you can take a loss, like when I have, learn from it and come back.
That seems great that you've been able to gain together that composure and everything. So I really can't wait to see what you look like now, this new revamped version. A little more in-depth into the training camp. How long of a camp were you able to have this time?
It was over 8 weeks, because I was supposed to fight in Washington before this, and that one fell through. So I was training that one, and then I stopped training for 2 weeks when that fell through, and then I was right back in the gym. So it's been a little over 8 weeks. With my conditioning coach, it's been about 4 or 5 months. He is Dan really Silva's conditioning coach. His name is Vince Tao. Kind of a weird last name, but he's amazing. He trains Vanderlei, like I said, and he's completely changed everything. I've never been a weight lifter. I never did that as a boxer. You don't lift weights really, and now I am. I'm flipping tires, lifting heavy weights, throwing heavy balls around. So I feel a lot stronger. Getting people off me and things like that's a lot easier now.
All right, so just so we could get some of the people that are listening to this interview and they're expecting to watch you fight in Invicta for the first time, how would you describe your fighting style to those people?
Well, I'm definitely known for my stand-up, my striking. I have really fast hands. I throw bombs. I throw punches and punches. I have really good lateral movement. I'm known for my footwork. It's kind of hard to catch me. I move a lot like a boxer. My hands, like I said, are super fast. I have good kicks. I like to stand and bang. That's my thing. I'd so much rather do that than roll around on the ground. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but I get it. It's mixed martial arts. Like I said, I'm doing everything now. My wrestling's improved. My takedown defense has gotten a lot better. So, I get put on cards and things like that because I do have really good striking, and my fights are always exciting. I haven't had one fight where I haven't knocked someone down, or really just asked them off with my hands. So, it should be exciting.
Okay, so everybody, you heard it. Make sure you watch Michele Gutierez in the stand-up. She has that style we all like to see, going for the knockout and making the fight exciting. Now, another thing I wanted to ask you about was just to talk about a little bit about the life of being a female mixed martial artist. We know the pay rate isn't as good for the females as for the males, so you probably have another job within the training and the promoting and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So could you talk about a little bit about that?
Yeah, I've kind of struggled a little bit. I've gone through stages where I was just going to train and, quit my job numerous times, but I'm at the place now where, I would love to train full time, but it's just not feasible. I'm a single mom. I, raise my daughter on my own, and I have to work. So I bartend out in Vegas, 3 to 4 nights a week, which doesn't seem like that much, but, it's late night hours, with folks and drunk people, so it kind of sucks. But I do what I have to do, and I cut down a lot the last month in working so that I can just focus and train. And I'm hoping, with Invicta, they're paying us. I'm making more for this fight than I've ever made. So they're paying us. They are not by any means. And I'm hoping that the promotion works out so that we have a home. And if I get a 4 or 5 fight deal for this, I don't have to work anymore. It's like that. I would definitely be able to train full time. So fingers crossed with that.
it's only what I believe is fair. You guys need to be getting paid on that same level. The fights are just as exciting, and it's great that Invicta's putting together an organization, a promotion like this, where you guys are getting your fair turn and your fair payment and everything, knowing that's hard for women. But what inspired you first to get started in mixed martial arts, too?
Well, I started as a boxer. I have kind of like, a checkered past. I fell into the party scene, kind of out of high school. And I moved to San Diego, just left my life, left my mom out here, and just, was wild. College, doing bad things, and, drugs, drinking. And I just, woke up one day and I looked in the mirror and I was like, oh, I was like, shit. So I opened the phone book and it landed on the first page was this place and it was called the Boxing Club. And I'm like, oh, okay, I've never been in street fights till this day. It's not my style. I'm like, okay, I can go get some bags and see how that is. And I walked in and I was like a natural. Like I said, my hands were just, the coaches were like, holy crap, like this girl's hands are amazing. Right from the bat. I didn't have, never had that thing where I turned my head and I got hit. Never was afraid of getting hit. Never was afraid of getting in there. So from that day forward, I just never looked back. I never did another drug. I never did anything. Got fighting and started doing amateur, and then I turned pro, in boxing, and I did that. I started dating an MMA fighter, and he's like, God, you should really consider doing this. We need more women, and your hands are sick. You started knocking people out, and so I did it. I just didn't even train for like a month in MMA, and I took my pro debut against Gutierez. So, I started off big.
So from going from the boxing, what was your impressions of the grappling aspect the first time you did it?
Well, I never really was a fan. I just always, instinct for me is just to always hit somebody, and having someone that close to me really bothered me. And, that's one thing that's changed in me now. I'm okay with being close to somebody. I'm okay with having someone lay on me, but I hated it at first. Like my first fight when I got taken down, I didn't even know what she was doing. I had no idea. I was like, what's going on, But, you learn from it. Like I said, I learned lessons from that. Every loss I've had, I've learned a lot from.
Right. So, I'm betting your daughter plays a big part in this, but what are some other inspirations you have for continuing on with your career in mixed martial arts? Or is it the love and the passion for the sport?
It's definitely, I have a passion for the sport, but, I feel like I owe it to it. It changed my life. It cleaned me up. It's not fair for me just to stop, And I see, like, my daughter and, little girls that are starting to get into it, and, I just want to open doors for them. I don't want them to have all the problems that we're having right now. By the time they fight, I want them to be able to just be able to have to be normal. It's such crap that we have to deal with right now. Being like a little sideshow, or being like, oh, the only girl on the card, the first fight, having them offer us $300. It's just pathetic, And then, my mom, like, she never really got to do anything that she wanted to do, and, she struggled with cancer, and when I saw all the things that she was going through, to me, fighting is easy compared to all the chemo and all the things that she had to go through. So, I do it in honor of her, and I do it so my daughter can see her mom being a strong woman and know that there's nothing she can't do.
Right. Prior to the UFC 145 Rashad Evans-John Jones fights, the UFC had done the commercials where it was kind of talking about why the guys are fighters outside of the cage. And when we talk about mixed martial arts just as, oh, they're fighters, I kind of feel that cheapens the definition of fighters because, as you said, like cancer survivors and all these other people, it's almost, life is hard. Everyone's a fighter, and, yeah, they're professional fighters, but it's also you're getting paid for a sport, and everyone's a fighter. Do you kind of, share that mentality?
I do. Everyone, and that's one thing I've learned, like, with the growing popularity that I've had in the last year, I've gotten, I talk to my fans every day on Twitter. There's not one person that I don't answer. I get everyone's story. I get emails all the time, direct messages of them, letting me know what they go through. Everyone's a fighter in their own way. Just life in general is a fight. It's, for me, getting in the cage is, easier than waking up in the morning and just doing my daily stuff, you know. So I definitely agree with you on that, you know. Everyone has a fighter, and then we just kind of do it in a different way.
Right. It's just a conversation I get into, and I keep thinking to myself, I'm like, we really need to, you know, boxers are considered boxers, football players are football players. We really, I think, we need to call MMA fighters, instead of them just being professional fighters, we really need to call them mixed martial artists, because I feel that fighters, it's more of a broad term for everyone with how hard life is nowadays, and just ever. You know, everyone's a fighter.
Yeah, I agree with you, definitely. You know, that's what I call myself, you know. When it says occupation on things I fill out, I put mixed martial artist, and then I get weird looks, but whatever, I mean, that is what I am, so.
And then someone will be like, oh, you're a cage fighter, right?
Yeah, and then they'll throw out the stupid thing, I didn't know girls did that, or, are you going to fight Gina Carano? And then I get all feisty on them, you know?
You get feisty on them?
Oh, God, that's like my biggest pet peeve is when people ask me if I'm going to fight Gina Carano.
It's okay. I live in a small enough town that I have a tap-out sweatshirt and a hat, and every time I walk around wearing the stuff, people come up to me telling me how great my last fight was, and I try to tell them I'm just a commentator, kind of media personality. No one wants to believe it. They keep telling me I was great in my last fight, and I don't know what anybody's talking about.
That's awesome.
Right. So, for all that also, where do you see women's MMA going? I can see it on that platform where this works out, and we're up to the pay-per-views and stuff. Do you see that fully happening?
I do. I'm a little nervous. I'm scared, you know. I'm scared that it's not going to happen, but I don't see how it can't. You know, it's like, I mean, Dana White, honestly, with the whole Ronda Rousey, Miesha Tate hype and all that craziness, I think he's coming around a little bit, to be honest with you, you know. And I think a league like Invicta, where he's going to be able to see all different weight classes filled and then not having problems finding fight or talent in every weight class. I mean, he's now the 105 on this one. And, you know, and that fight is going to be amazing. So I think he's going to have to kind of open it up a little bit. But I get so angry. It's like, why is my life in one guy's hands? You know, I don't really like that. So that's why I'm really just hoping that Invicta can just move forward and people pay attention. And, you know, that's why I tweet about it 75,000 times a day, because if my voice can be heard a little bit more and one more person's going to find out about it and one more person's going to watch, then, you know, I'm all for it.
Right, exactly. I love the way that the Strikeforce show got the attention and everything, but the biggest injustice in that whole event was also that the Sarah Kaufman fight, that their fight was on the prelims instead of being on the main card. That should have been done. And also, I just kind of don't like how they try to change everyone from featherweights to bantamweights and construct that one super division, which, I don't, it just didn't sit right, because you can't tell people, you know, what weight class to fight at.
Hello?
Hello?
Yeah, I didn't hear what you said.
Oh, I said with the Strikeforce promotion, I was happy to see that for the women. Just was kind of a bummer that Sarah Kaufman wasn't on the main card, that her fight was on the prelims, because that fight was a war. And then also, I didn't love how they're trying to construct just the bantamweight division, how they were kind of, you know, putting in the shadows that featherweight division they had already constructed.
Yeah, I mean, I think with that one, they were just trying to go off of, you know, what they could get the most attention for, which, you know, sucks for Sarah Kaufman. I feel bad for her, but trust me, she's going to get her day. I mean, if she fights Ronda Rousey, I don't know. I think she's going to do amazing, you know. I think that fight was great for women's MMA. As much as I hated the way that Ronda Rousey portrayed herself, she did bring a lot of attention to the fight, so I can't knock her for that, you know.
Right. And then also, which even I thought was a good help for women's MMA, prior to that, it's kind of been quieted since then, but there was the 115-pound Bellator tournament that had taken place.
Yeah,
and all of those
were
tremendous
too.
Fights.
Yeah, I mean, like, Doyle, Grozel, I mean, there's so much talent out there, and it kills me sometimes, like, when, like, people don't know about these girls, you know, like, they're like, who's that? I'm like, oh my gosh, how do you not know? but it's going to happen. I mean, I'm just kind of sitting in the wings, like watching everything go down. And especially from when I first started fighting, things have changed a lot. We're getting paid now. We're getting awesome sponsors. I think it's going in the right direction. I'm definitely.
Okay, and one last thing, focusing back on Invicta and your fight. Can you tell the listeners a little bit of what they should expect to see from your fight?
I honestly, my prediction, my coach's predictions, everybody that's around me's predictions is that, Sarah's going to come in hard and go for the takedown, and she's really relentless about getting the takedowns. She'll pretty much whatever she has to do to get you down, and so I'm expecting to have to just stay on my wheels and keep moving and, punch and move like I do, and I'm just going to try to pick her apart with my hands and my feet, and if she goes to the ground, it's not going to be as easy as she thinks it's going to be, because that's where I've been spending all my time lately, is on my back. So it's going to be an exciting fight. If she stands with me, even better, so should be good.
So, with being a striker, the minute your opponent is a grappler, and you already know they're going to try to take you down, do you find that as an advantage? Okay, I know what I'm looking for, and I know they're going to be desperate to put me on their back. Do you feel that it gives you an advantage, some kind of insight or anything?
Before, I was holding back on throwing punches because I knew that I was going to get taken down if I threw something or if I overthrew something. But now, working with having top-level wrestlers shoot in on me all day long, which, she's definitely not a collegiate wrestler, and that is her background, but she didn't do it in college, competitive level or anything. So, I'm definitely in good hands. I feel so much more confident. Like, when I do hit the ground, it's instinct for me just to get back up, just to scramble to get back up, to, land a knee to the face, or, whatever I have to do to create distance and get back into where I'm comfortable, which is in the center of a cage. That's my home. You'll see when I fight her that 99% of the time I will be in the center of the cage. If I'm not in the center of the cage, that's what I'm trying to get to. That's what I'm so happy there. I love it there. It's the best. It just makes me happy being there. So I guess, when people get sloppy and they leave themselves open, that's when I can counter strike. She's going to get tired eventually of chasing me around, and her shots are going to get sloppy, and then she's going to start eating punches, and that makes me very uncomfortable.
Right, no way to make someone back up by popping them in the face a couple times.
Exactly.
I had talked to Cassie Roddice, and she said when she got her call to be a replacement, she was out there training with you and said you were looking great, so I'm sure that we're going to see a great striking display. Wanted to give you some time now to shout out sponsors, trainers, training partners. Your time now, go for it.
Yeah, I have a whole new sponsorship. Like I said, I have a new management now. I have awesome guys who get me sponsors. So I want to thank him. It's his family day. I have Seven, which is a jewelry company. They're making like my own jewelry for me, which is so awesome. They're sending something out today. They're sponsoring me. I have Fight Chicks, Fighter Girls, Fighter Hook, Fight Twisted, Tricosta MMA, which is a MMA clothing line, and then Team Felony, which is a local clothing line out of Las Vegas. They make amazing clothes. They've really taken care of me, and they'll actually be at the fight. They got clean tickets, so I have a lot of support coming out. So that's that, and thank you for taking the time to talk to me.
Thank you so very much for, giving me the time to ask you some questions, using your free time like this. And for everyone listening, remember, Invicta Fighting Championships, April 28th, free streaming on YouTube, all-female card. You need to check it out. You need to watch it. Support women's MMA, and watch out for the great striking display coming from Michele Gutierez. We'll be cheering for you.
All right. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Bye.
and have a great day. This has been Cage Minds. Uncage the war within yourself, and have a good night.